outcomes has brought at the moment. Now, he has been known as a controversial politician, fearless, as well as a successful Lusaka businessman who has in the recent years donated big in various functions. He has been a member of the former ruling Patriotic Front and now in the opposition until about May 2021. That's when he decided to jump out of the boat after he was left out of the adoption process. He is now Lumesi constituency member of parliament, wearing the hat of Honorable Munir Zulu. He joins me on set. Let's find out what he has for us this evening. Honorable, welcome to this program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Piri.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be on your platform. Yeah.
Allow me to begin by congratulating you, of course, on behalf of the institution for victory.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy ride, but I mean, the people spoke and we're here today.
All right.
Yeah.
Many of the people of Zambia have called this moment or the environment we're in as a new dawn for Zambia, because we've got a lot of young people that have decided to join the National Assembly to be part and parcel of enacting laws. Among them, you are sitting here as Honorable Munir Zulu. We've got Bino Mpundu, Christopher Kangombe, as well as Christopher, from the other Kangombe from Sesheke. A number of you. What should the people of Zambia expect this year in the National Assembly?
First of all, we must understand that we are coming in from a generation that is hungry for positive change. We know to say for the last few years, our country has been having two discussions. Number one discussion was politics. The number two discussion was law. Everyone wanted to be a lawyer, everyone wanted to be a politician. And then there was this crop of young people that I subscribe to, believe to say we need to change the story. Here is our country that is rich and blessed.
Yeah.
But then why do we limit our discussions to politics and law?
Right.
People had nothing to do. When you look at the past, of course, not to disrespect the previous members of parliament, you discover that they were not interested in seeing a lot of reforms take place. We are young people that want to see things happen. We are young people that want to see change. The PF had the odd guys, the UPND had the odd guys, and they too both have the odd members of parliament.
Yeah.
And we want to go there and tell them, look, you can have the experience, but we want the results. We belong to that school of thought. For us, if something can be done in 10 minutes, let it be done in 10 minutes. Yes, we've had the privileges of learning that the speaker can control who debates and who does not. I think those things have to change, because I'm not only representing the aspirations of the people of Lumezi, I am representing the aspirations of the young people of this country. So, me going to parliament, first things first, I don't care, I don't mind being expelled from that house. We've got to change the narrative. If people are going to say, you only speak once, yet the people out there are waiting for a voice, then I'm a misfit. I'm a misfit because I've had the privilege of listening.
Right.
And I know what people's expectations are. I'm not going there to be told which hospital I should go to when I'm unwell, even if those are privileges. I've read those things. All those are wrong things that have been taking place at Parliament, and we must change the story. And that's the reason some of us, maybe, God has allowed us to be where we are today. Yeah.
I don't know really what signal you are trying to send now to the Speaker of the National Assembly. Are you trying to tell the people of Zambia that they are going to see a lot of, protocol, breaking the protocol from you, because there are some laid down procedure on how one should debate and what time you should be able to raise your hand, or when you're supposed to be called to the podium and debate? Are you trying to send a signal that you are going to be just all over the show breaking the law? Look, parliamentary procedures?
It's not breaking parliamentary procedure. I think when the colonial masters left certain assignments, there was no due diligence done as to how we should debate in Parliament. Those are inherited problems, and I will not be part of those. What I'm going there to represent are the reforms that will address the challenges that the people of Zambia are facing. For me, that is what is important. It's not about breaking protocols. Which protocols that we inherited are not part of our DNA. As a matter of fact, even the procedures in there, what I've come to learn so far, it's something that is inherited. It's not even a Zambian culture.
Right.
We're going there to represent the aspirations of the Zambian people, and not the aspirations of our colonial masters. Just left a white book with rules, and then we just follow them without understanding the intention. I think that shouldn't be a reason for me to be in Parliament. We must change the story.
What ambiguities have you noticed so far in as far as the parliamentary procedures? I know that you've been undergoing through, what is called the orientations from now up to the time when you'll be sworn in. What are some of the ambiguities would you bring out to say, I think for me, the first day I'm going to step into Parliament, I think I have to raise my hand and stop that or change this?
You see, I'm not too certain as to what I can discuss in front of a camera, having perused through the privileges of Parliament. But I do not understand why Parliament should decide for me which hospital I should go to when I'm unwell.
Right.
I don't understand why Parliament should loan me a vehicle, but not a deal of my choice. And it's a loan. Already I'm suspecting to say corruption then starts from Parliament. All those things are a deja vu of crookedness. Who benefits? What if I'm a patient of my Nasoko Hospital, Lusaka Trust Hospital, Levi Mwanawasa Hospital, but Parliament wants me to go to Midland? So I'm trying to understand, to say, you may think the problem is there, yet the problem starts with the legislative arm of government. So these are some of the things that we must first of all control and correct.
And I want to begin to interrogate some of these systems we've put in place, like you've mentioned, in which, for example, you as a member of Parliament, because you are called honorable, you are being told which hospital or clinic you should go to when, for example, if you get sick. And yet we've got our men and women in our villages, really, that are struggling. They can't have access to those hospitals. And this tells me that it appears that whoever gets into power, we care less for our people. We have seen this happening. This trend has been going on for a long time, where we've got our leaders, most especially you, the politicians, you promise us to build modern hospitals, but once you get sick, we see some of these people being flown out of the country. Some, God forbid, but I should make mention that, not with due respect I have to the deceased, that we have a number of former heads of state that have died, not in Zambia, but in the foreign hospitals. But yet we've kept on building hospitals in this country. What does this mean to the leadership that we are inculcating into the minds of our people?
Mr. Piri, that's the issue I'm trying to put across. Before being elected as a member of parliament, I did not know that there are these entitlements.
Sure.
And when I say we are coming from a crop of young leadership that intends to change the story. This is what we're talking about. We cannot be seen to preside over the affairs of our people, but we go to different hospitals. For me, that is a problem. And I'll raise it.
Right.
Outside and inside the house. Of course, at an individual level, I should have a choice where I can go. That choice is mine, but we need to set a certain bar of standards for the people we lead and those that we follow. Why do you want to choose for me which hospital I should go to, yet my people cannot access the same hospital? Those are things that I intend to address. If I'm going to go to Lumezi Mission Hospital, my people should also go to Lumezi Mission Hospital. But if you're going to tell me I should go to Coptic, and even my allowance is deducted because someone made that decision on my behalf, already that is not democracy. There are small things that we have already noticed. This is a problem. And who is benefiting? Who made that decision on my behalf? Who made that decision on my behalf that I should go to this hospital? I should buy my vehicle from this dealer. What are the intentions? So we've already noticed what the problem is.
Right.
Whether the old guards noticed it and chose to ignore it, we shall raise it in the house. And I'll raise it in my maiden speech, not any other. Because if the problem is at Parliament, then let us cure the problem from where it starts from. We cannot be seen to represent the masses and then we're doing the opposite. I'm not going to be part and parcel. I'd rather I'm expelled from Parliament.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me now ask you, or let me find out about where your loyalty lies on, because we've seen that some of your colleagues who are members of parliaments at independent level, they have already decided to, for the sake of development again, I think it could be a good thing, they have decided to work with the current administration of the current president, President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND. Why? Because it's a trend that has been set, by various presidents. According to them, they have made us to believe, to say, you can only achieve that meaningful development if you work with the government of the day, if you work together with the current president. Let me find out from you, how do you intend to work going forward? Others have come here, have announced to say they are going to work with President HH and the UPND.
You see, this thing is a two-way thing.
Yeah.
First things we must understand is that we won as independent members of parliament. We defeated the ruling and the biggest opposition political party then. Sure. I defeated the PF candidate that had everything at her disposal and defeated the UPND candidate, the ruling party now. It is too soon for me to say I'm willing to work with His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. All right? Of course, I've also had the privilege
to meet him.
Yeah. But there was no deal because I do not understand his agenda for Zambia. Neither do I understand his agenda for the legislative arm of government. I do not understand what good laws he intends to bring to Parliament. So for me, I think I'm still trying to analyze, understand. Do they mean well or not? If my colleagues have said they're willing to work with this new government, first of all, they're entitled to their opinion. they're entitled to freedom of expression and opinion. I respect that. But for me, I would rather, first of all, understand what is the agenda. Are we looking for a better Zambia, or are we going for personal interests? If it's personal interest, I'm not interested. If it's about witch hunt, I'm not interested. I would rather remain as an independent. So long I speak on behalf and for the people of Lumezi constituents when I'm in the House, I'm content. Witch hunt, there will be no one Zambia, one nation. Dealers should continue weakening government institutions. I'm not interested. But should they give me hope that they mean well for this country? Who am I? I dream of a better Zambia. I want state institutions to be functioning without political influence like we saw in so many decisions. In fact, when I met the president, I said, Your Excellency, there was no need for some of us to be members of parliament. Right. Because we are comfortable in the corporate world. But when dealers started making certain decisions, they pushed us to go to parliament. This I mentioned to him, and he recognized. He said, that's a great submission. So, if His Excellency is going to put national affairs first, trust me, I'll be his #1 fan. Right. No negotiations. I'll just say, look, this is progressive, and I'll support it. But if it's going to be something that puts individual interest first, that's not the reason why the people of Lumezi elected me. I will not support him. Right. My support has conditions attached to it. Zambia first, one Zambia, one nation. I'm his boy.
Right. I'm sure you've, of course, followed President Hakainde Hichilema. Of course, is a person that really has been in the opposition for quite some times. That's why I want to believe that even for him to win this year's elections, it was not it never came as a surprise, because HH, the name HH, it became like a household name by every citizen in this country. How would you describe him from after listening to all his manifestos or his articulate in terms of the agenda that he has for this country? How would you describe who HH is from your own perspective as independent member of parliament?
One thing I agree, he's a very intelligent human being.
Yeah.
Hakainde Hichilema managed to send a message to the young people, the first-time voters. Bali will fix it. His message was resonating well with the young people. That you can take away from him. On the other hand, ECA was saying he will hand over power to young people in 2026, which was a mistake.
Right.
The other one realized that young people are vulnerable and gave them a message. Young people believed in that, and they responded. In fact, if President Hakainde Hichilema does not meet the aspirations of young people, Bali will fix it, the slogan will change. We shall fix Bali. Unfortunately, we shall fix Bali. Right. Here it was Bali will fix it, but the slogan may change. We'll fix Bali. Young people need jobs. That's young people.
Right.
So his message resonated well with the young people, and they responded. Now it's his turn to respond to the needs of the young people. If he does not do that, young people will fix him. That's where Zambia has reached. It's about the young people. PF had stopped listening to young people. They would sit as odd madalas and listen to themselves, never listen to young people. And young people showed them the exit door. That's a time bomb. I'm glad young people are not calling him as His Excellency HH.
Yeah.
Because he said, Bali will fix it.
Yeah.
And he's comfortable to be called Bali.
Sure.
Young people love it.
It's a sign of humility, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is humility. But the PF forgot about the young people. And young people spoke. And that's the reason we've got more young people in Parliament today than ever before. It's a message. How you respond to the young people speaks a lot.
Right.
We are no longer preparing to take over. We are taking over. We've been prepared, and now we are taking over.
Let me now take you to one very critical and very important aspect in terms of the journey you went through during your political, career or your ascendance to the National Assembly. You faced a lot of controversy along the way. Later on, you decided to retire from the Patriotic Front. And my question is, today the PF, like you've mentioned, it's out of power. My question would be, what do you think really has made the PF to be booted out of office? Just let's go into the in-depth of this.
They stopped listening. They were not listening to a voice of reason. You see, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power is not something that you can hold in perpetuity. It comes and goes. They stopped listening to any voice of reason.
Yeah.
If you told them the ugly truth, they labeled you to be indisciplined. They labeled you to mean you have no respect for elders. And 99% of those that were in leadership in PF trusted bootlickers than genuine members. If I love you, Mr. Piri, I should not hide anything from you. Let me tell you the truth. Where you are going, there is a ditch. Can you make a U-turn? And appreciate that, value that. But they didn't want to listen to such a voice. They chose to listen to those that says, Alawede Rapo Pampando. Those were their best allies. Some of us were ridiculed. We are called all sorts of names. But do we care? We sent them a message. Say, gentlemen, this is borrowed power. It's not yours. It belongs to the people of Zambia. It's now that a selected few of them are saying, you were right. You were right. You were right. Look, we should not stop to engage. We should never stop to listen. It's good to listen. And it's also good to learn to listen, or listen to learn. Our friends stopped listening. There was no revolutionary in this country. That's just a fact. If anything, look, the UPND got 1 million votes from 3 provinces. Southern, Northwestern, and Western provinces gave them 1 million votes. That's not a revolution. But to teach the PF a lesson, that's why they got bonuses in the 7 provinces. It's a fact. I love to state facts.
Yeah.
UPND only got 1 million votes in 3 provinces. And got bonus votes in 7 provinces. So when people are analyzing things, there is no revolution that has taken place in Zambia. But people just wanted to teach these guys to say power belongs to the people.
When you say that they had stopped listening, who had stopped listening here in the PF government during that time?
The leadership.
Yeah? Because look, I did question someone here to say, when you talk about the leadership, really, the leadership is huge, and there is also the main man himself was ECO at that moment. You know, when during the Central Committee meetings, I'm sure he was fully in charge and be able to analyze the atmosphere out there. Sorry, I keep on asking these questions because the PF has informed the nation that they are rebranding the party in the preparations to come back or to bounce back come 2026.
Mr. Piri,
Yeah.
your question is based on an assumption.
Right.
There are two schools of thought that I've had the privilege to learn from. One is that it's the chairman that was in charge of the Central Committee,
Sure.
and not the president.
Right.
So I do not know whether it was the president in charge or the chairman. That I don't know, because I've never been a member of the Central Committee. Nevertheless, let's say it was President Lungu who was in charge.
Yeah.
Then he was not listening. The problem is he never reached out to people. And he does not reach out to people. People feed him lies, and then he can't reach out. That's a problem. Leadership, learn to pick up the phone and approach someone. I'm not comfortable with what you have done. I'm not here to lecture the previous regime on what to do and what not to do. But reach out. What if you're being fed lies? Like the situation has been. He was misled. And I can tell you, and not to take away a lot of things from other leaders, like when we went to meet President Hakainde Hichilema.
Yeah.
I was in a company of my fellow members of parliament. Some leaders created an impression to His Excellency that we are 20 independent members of parliament. Okay? Then we said, no. We are not 20, we are only 11. Okay? So now, President Hakainde Hichilema is convinced that Zambia has 11 independent MPs. But as of today, we are 13 of us. So whoever took that lie to President Hakainde Hichilema, that the 11 has to go back and say, no, Your Excellency, sorry,
The figures again.
there are 13. How presidents are easily misled by their own handlers, I don't know.
Right.
So I strongly suspect even President Lungu was misled for a very long time. His handlers told him so many lies, which is a fact anyway. They lied to him. There are some PF MPs that walked to me and said, look, blood is thicker than water. I told them, excuse me. The president should call me. I don't know how many lies you took to him. Then today, you tell me blood is thicker than water. If President Lungu does not call me, there is not a relationship, because I do not know what he thinks about me. For now, I've got an idea of what President Hakainde thinks of me. I've got an idea, but
Because you met him.
because I met him.
Yeah.
Not his agents. I never met agents of President Hakainde Hichilema. I met him. So I've got an idea to say, oh, so he thinks of me in this line. When he said this, I know he directed it to me, but was being a leader, seemed to be addressing others. I don't know what President Lungu thinks of me, but I've got a moral obligation to tell him, to say, look, Mr. President, you are my president. Stop listening from liars. Vakandile. Stop. Can you engage the people? Talk to them. Why should we, I personally, there is no way President Lungu calls me and then I don't respond. I'm not the kind of a person. If President Rupia Banda calls me today, I'll respond. President Hakainde Hichilema calls me today, I'll respond. But you blacklist me and you think I'll listen to your agent.
There were issues that, should I say, allegations that you were advised even, when you were vying to stand as a member of parliament for Lumezi, you were called by the leadership and you were told you need to wait a little bit. You never listened.
Listening is both ways. If you want me to listen, learn to listen as well. Did they listen when I spoke? If anything, my going to parliament, after having defeated their preferred choice shows that they had already stopped listening. Because I got this mandate from the people, and not them. They were just a minute organization that could not dictate my personal aspirations. Me listening to them without them listening from my side meant another 5 years of me being tormented by those that had executive functions, making abnormal demands. If there was a system that was corrupt, who are these ministers that have gone? I'm just monitoring how DEC and ACC. I was on Muvi TV at some point where I said the ACC must be abolished. It was here. I said they're a toothless bulldog. And now I've seen them going for small boys in town. I'm monitoring. Because I'm one of those people that went to the Anti-Corruption Commission, lodged in a complaint, and instead the Anti-Corruption Commission chose to sell me to some Chinese on the corrupt happenings that took place. And what they did not know was that is one of the reasons why I'm now in this situation, because I'm going to speak from the house. I know which judges are corrupt, which dealers are corrupt. I said ACC is a toothless bulldog. PF didn't listen. I hope the new government...
And of course, ACC will not listen to you, DEC will not listen to you, because they have been inviting calls to, from people like you that if you've got evidence to that effect, why can't you go forward and submit those evidence?
I've had...
and without any malice, really. Do you have any names of the former cabinet minister that you perceive to be corrupt?
I've not had issues with the DEC.
Yeah.
I believe if the two institutions that have had professional conduct in this country is the DEC and Zambia Police.
Right.
Zambia Police and DEC have moved in swiftly on certain matters that we couldn't imagine. ACC, where they told me what to do, at what time, and put me in a trap, when I told them, say, look, the evidence that you need on this particular matter is circumstantial evidence. You know what they did? I'm leaving the Akulima Tower building. The Chinese already knows that I'm walking out and reported him. My stance on the Anti-Corruption Commission is not changing today or tomorrow. And that Chinese has already met the current head of state, unfortunately. I've got those pictures they've met. I hope he's not coming to weaken the institutions of governance any further. If he does that, some of us, as young as we are, we shall rise to the occasion and defend this country to the best of our abilities. That we shall do. We cannot allow anyone coming in and tell our institution, use our own institutions established by law to close down business entities that have been in existence before that Chinese came. He's the only Chinese I've seen that has met President Hakainde Hichilema. So I know to say more challenges lay ahead. That's why I'm saying it's too soon for me to say yes or no as to whether I'm going to work with this guy.
I wish I can challenge you to be able to be courageous enough and bring out the suspected names you have in your mind, that these are former cabinet ministers who are perceived to be corrupt. But again, as much as you can do that, remember that there could be some consequences that might follow you because you'll be required to produce evidence.
Mr. Piri, I do not have the privileges right now.
Right.
When I'm giving my maiden speech, the dealers, the judges, and those former cabinet ministers, I'll mention their names. They ate alone. They ate from us. I lost, they won. So, it's, for me, it's the interest of a young entrepreneur not to go through what I went through in the last few years. I went through a lot. I was not considered as being part of them. I was being charged unprofessional fees. I went to the ACC, go to the Anti-Corruption Commission and ask them, did this character come here and complain about someone? They've got the names. Did they act on them? Today they're acting on cadres like Max Ochongo, honestly.
And what has come out at the moment as one of the reasons why the PF has been voted out of the office is because of the issues to do with corruption allegations, issues to do with cadreism in the bus stations as well as markets, you know, as well as the economy that kept on shrinking, whilst a few number of people in the government or in the PF were getting rich. I remember at some point you had a confrontation or an altercation with Max Ochongo, a video that went viral, or an audio that went viral on social media in which he was daring you to prove yourself how rich you were or how rich he is. You know, he was a PF member by then and you are coming from the Patriotic Front. Would you confirm that you are among those people that have amassed wealth from through the PF government or administration, which has been called as a corrupt?
Look, what you need to understand is that I've never done any business with government all my life. And I have no interest in doing business with government. If my colleagues did business with government, that's them. I love the private sector. All right, I can't afford to inflate figures because payments come late. I prefer business that is service delivery. Yeah. So look, on a lighter note, I'm honorable now. Max is still a cadre, so there is no need for us to discuss Max. But what worries me is when government institutions are quick to go for a carpenter and they're leaving out a brim, you know. Max is a very small boy, and maybe could have done whatever he did out of excitement. But the state institutions were quick to seize his assets. For me, I think certain matters were extensively handled in the case of the Chungus and Access Financial Services. You don't need to justify where you got your 1 million kwacha from. So the big boys that we should monitor than Max.
And you sympathize with Max, not so?
No, he's a very small boy. He's just an excited PF cadre that election results didn't go in his favor. And then he's into this unfortunate situation, you know, where, you know, it's not a good feeling that your family is being victimized in the middle of the night, and then you don't know where it's coming from. As much as he's excited, he could have posted those videos and attracted certain eyes, which was not healthy, but we all learn through growing. Yeah, so...
what lessons really would we say maybe young people should learn from this scam or this scandal?
You see, there are two issues here. There is excitement from Max. You see, as we grow up, if we are not exposed to certain things, those things, we grow with them. Lack of exposure is a problem. Then we young people should learn to manage ourselves. I mean, those things are supposed to be for me and my family. They're not for the outside world. So let's not be excited as young people. Last night I was privileged to have met a group of, in fact I forced my way at some hotel within Lusaka. There were UPND supporters. And I was with my fellow independents who were having our caucus, saying, no, we will not allow this region to dominate. And that's why you followed them. I said, excuse me, we're looking at one Zambia, one nation. So I think your friends conceded. That's magnanimous enough.
Right.
Let's not be excited. There is nothing that can excite us. If anything, you in your excitement will miss out on the most important contract as a new government, and that contract will still go back to the PF sympathizers, unfortunately. So Max was just excited, and then his young people that may be jealous of him and whatsoever took offense and went to report him to DEC. But again, DEC, I think, I read the statement that the DEC issued. In some paragraph they are saying, let's not be vindictive because we have a robust way of investigating these issues. We can surrender things back. But you see, the embarrassment that someone would have gone through is something that is traumatizing.
Yeah.
For me, DEC would have done well to investigate and then seize. Not seize, then investigate.
Yeah.
I think for me, they were too quick. Unless there's something that I do not know. But if I'm to go by the statement that DEC issued yesterday, then they're traumatizing the young man and his family, which shouldn't be the case. Because look, Zambia needs to heal. Zambia needs to open a new page. We've done enough politicking, but now the people that are on pause, waiting, the politicians that went throughout this country, that said, look, there's going to be tribalism, there's going to be regionalism, so they want to prove all that. The people that are on standby waiting to see which permanent secretaries are going to be fired, which directors from quasi-government institutions are going to be fired. Are they all going to be from one region? Are they all going to be from across the country? All those issues. People are, look, I'm privileged to meeting a lot of stakeholders right now. And everyone is saying, look, wait. We don't want certain words to come to pass. If the current regime has to be judged, it should not be judged based on how many northerners were chased. It will be a problem.
Right.
That is going to be a problem.
Right.
We are looking at one thing right now. One Zambia, one nation.
Right.
Yes, they have the numbers, they won. But should they try to make it appear that there is no one Zambia, one nation, I can assure you there will be the most short-lived government. We are not going to accept. Already, we've seen the nature of investigations that are taking place. We have seen who is being arrested and who is being persecuted. There are so many deals that we know that were never brought to Parliament. Speed cameras was never brought to Parliament. We know why UPND kept quiet, and we also know why PF kept quiet. They were both beneficiaries. So, all we are saying, all I'm saying, on behalf of the people of Lumezi, first of all, let's have a cabinet that is one Zambia, one nation.
Right.
Government institutions, they should not harass people based on tribe, race, and creed. If they take this route, we'll have a challenge.
All right.
And we can sustain that fight for the next 5 years. Our destiny is in the hands of God and not individuals.
Let me get your independent thoughts on the aspect of cadreism as well. We know that we have a new government which has promised, massive to the people of Zambia. Very interesting messages. We have seen the UPND, of course, are going on the ground to ensure that they clean up the mess that was left by the Patriotic Front. Cadres who are managing bus stations, like I did mention, markets and the likes. And the UPND are saying we have to have these markets or these places to be free for all, which is a very good signal. But in my questioning, in my interrogation, I've had a number of people here, that's from the UPND, among others as well, to say, what is there for the young people that really toiled for your political party and they have never been to school before? What are the immediate benefits that they are going to get now before you take them out of those bus stations, before they are turned into criminals in these compounds? I've given examples to say, for example, if you are going to about maybe Anthony Walia, the man I hosted last week, you are going to maybe to get a job maybe in the next 1 or 2 weeks from now. You talk about the Honorable Garin Kombo, Honorable Mweto, you're going to get jobs, you are guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. What about a young person who has never been to school before and he or she toiled very hard for the political party? And then you want to take them out of the market. Not really that I'm promoting lawlessness in the markets, but I believe in speaking realities in my case. How best can we help these young people away from that?
You see, Mr. Piri,
yeah.
The biggest problem is that both the previous regime and the current regime
Yeah.
have not taken time to understand, to say a cadre is who in which context.
Yeah.
Because what I saw from the President-elect's declaration that there is no cadreism, he meant to say a cadre is just a thug on the market. And it's exactly what you're asking me in your context. Because, no, because look,
I want to defend him because
wait.
To say those are human beings.
No.
That have
That's not the issue.
To contribute to.
No, but that's not the point.
Right.
Because under the Oxford Dictionary, cadres have been defined as being people that form opinions or shape opinions. So those are cadres.
Right.
But people you are kicking out from the streets, what opinions do they formulate? So we are mixing cadreism to thuggery. Okay, there are some thugs that were pretending to be cadres. All right? Because even President Hakainde is a cadre. He managed to influence an opinion, formed an opinion, people believed in him. He's a cadre of the UPND. President Lungu is a cadre of the PF. I'm a cadre of myself as an independent. We're all cadres. But you not see us who are carrying pangas. So I think the first thing is let's correct the impression that cadres are not thugs. That should be our starting point. Cadres are people that form and shape opinions. All of us in Parliament, we are cadres, because what we do there is what influences the people that have elected us. We are cadres, but you never see us going there with pangas or machetes.
Right.
So, the problem of him having removed those thugs from the markets is that we'll have more cases of breaking. Crime will be on the rise. Because most of them were street adults, surviving from these bus stations and markets. We expect to have an increase in crime. That's a fact. And I hope they've put enough remedies in place. We don't want to hear no vegetable seller has been hacked. We don't want to hear people going to church attacked. No, this group has been attacked. We don't want to hear that. I think this country needs healing, like I said earlier on. Let us be seen to push for an agenda that brings peace and harmony to the citizens of this country.
Let's talk about the PF, the rebranding, aspect that the PF has embarked on ahead of 2026 general elections. From your own understanding as an independent member of Parliament, what could be your independent advice or thoughts? Can the PF really bounce back into office? If at all you feel so, What should they do to bounce back into office as they claim? We have seen changes already that are taking place. Honorable Luinda has taken up the VIPA position, as well as Honorable Elizabeth Piri. She's now in charge of gender. You know, Antonio Mwanza is a National Youth Chairperson. Can the PF come back to office?
You see, self-introspection is very important. They're too emotional. They're making decisions with a lot of emotions. You lose an election and you are the same people that want to rebrand. Does it make sense? The first thing is to accept that we've been beaten. We've lost. Have they accepted from the innermost of their hearts that we have lost? Or they're still thinking that they're dreaming? They have not accepted. If there's an organization that is still in shock and in a state of confusion, is PF. First of all, let them accept. To be very honest, nothing wrong with Antonio Mwanza, but in my thinking alone, he's not inspiring to a lot of young people in PF itself. They were better off not. They went into an election with no national youth chairman, and you expect them to have a national youth chairman after an election. They should have taken a bit of time, introspect, call the people they discarded. Because the people that were chased are the people that were reasoning. Those were the first people PF should have called. Brothers and sisters, maybe it's now time we listen from your side. Now they'll continue cheating each other, comforting each other, and that will be the end. It's too soon.
If you were to be given the mandate, really, or you were to be called, you know, to contribute in terms of how the party can reform itself or rebrand itself, what changes would you make at leadership level going down branches?
To be very honest, even for me, it would be too soon for me to advise them, because I'm still celebrating my victory. Because
I'm saying, just imagine, let's imagine what position should be changed. Others are saying ECO, he has to go as well, the SG has to go, among others. You know, but of course we've seen that ECO is still party president. We don't know what might happen in the next few days to come from now.
You know,
SG Mwila as well is fully intact.
There was a time when I gave an opinion to say the SG cannot win an election. They didn't listen. So what more advice can I give? I gave an advice at the right time. It's not that my advice was ill-timed. I spoke like a Jewish prophet, but people didn't listen. So for now, I'm enjoying my victory against their candidate. I'm not interested in advising. And besides, no one from the PF has called me to congratulate me. So it's business as usual.
That's because maybe you victimized their candidate at that time, going to the extent of taking her to court.
Look, I didn't victimize their candidate. It's the electorates that victimized her. It's the electorates that defeated her. It's not me. I only had one vote. When I went to court, and I can assure you, one of the issues I'm going to push as I go to Parliament is the abolishment of the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court must be abolished. There is no way a court brings in issues of what a grade 12 certificate is. In another similar matter says we have no jurisdiction. It was like the court was aiding or abetting a crime. I was asking certain colleagues the other day, I said, look, can we try to do an audit on who has a grade 12 and how it looks like? There is no way. In my case, the Constitutional Court said they had no jurisdiction. Yet in the Lawrence Nyirenda, Bizwayo Nkunikavesa's Lawrence Nyirenda, they gave a ruling, sound ruling on what a grade 12 was. But for me, because I was not from the ruling party, an independent candidate, the judgment was different, saying we have no jurisdiction. Honestly, a constitutional court, qualifications for you to be member of parliament are enshrined in the constitution. We go to the constitutional court and then we are told no jurisdiction. I said, God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, where are we going as a country? That court will be abolished. Unless I don't manage to market my campaigns, otherwise I'm going to move a private member's bill, and that court should be abolished.
As we go, we've got 2 minutes, so we have to pack our bags and go, because I know that we've got another program coming up next. But Lumezi people are watching you right now, and they want you to assure them. What are the markable problems that you noted during your campaigns in Lumezi that you would want to work on as immediate as you are sworn in?
You see, in Eastern Province, I'm convinced beyond any reasonable doubt that Lumezi is the richest land. We have tourism, we have the mineral wealth. On the plateau side and the valley side, we've got gold, we've got quartz, and then we've got Lurambe National Park and Lukusuzi. We've got plenty water, but there is no good road network, and then no communication towers. 57 years after independence. Those are things that we're going to push for. Water problems. People are drinking from streams with animals. No decent boreholes 57 years after independence is unacceptable. No desks in schools. Of course, we're going to ask our friends to help us, because we will not rely on central government. For desks, we'll ask our friends from locally and outside how we can help to give desks to schools, solar panels in clinics where they use candles in the night, labor wards. Those are things that we're going to work on. Some of those things, we've started working on them right now. We just want to increase on well-wishers to come on board. Social corporate responsibility, those that are running the tour operators in Lumezi, if they're not going to go for social corporate responsibility, then they shouldn't be in Lumezi, let them leave. Minister of Tourism, I'm going to engage Minister of Tourism. We don't need people that just get our black lecturers and take them wherever they're going. Hippos and rhinos, no. We want to see an economic impact in Lumezi. We want to see people mining quartz, blue sky gold in Lumezi, benefiting the people of Lumezi.
And I'm sure you are aware of the challenges ahead of you. You might fail to, address all these issues, more especially if you are going to be antagonistic to the government of President HH. We have seen this happening in the past. For example, if you are a member of parliament, independent, you have to work with the government of the day. If you go the, for lack of better words, the arrogant way or arrogance way.
Look, there is no need for me. There is no need for me to be antagonistic towards the government.
We have to go. Yeah,
it's a government that may choose to be antagonistic towards us. I'm just a small carpenter in parliament, under the big fish.
Imagine government doesn't help you to address your challenges. Are you going to?
They'll say goodbye to the Zambian people that gave them the mandate. Zambians are not interested in antagonizing one another. All they want is development.
Right. Honorable, allow me to wish you the best in your political endeavors, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you, so very kind.
Right.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Dear viewers, allow me to appreciate you once again for your participation to all those questions you've been sending on social media. We do appreciate you. And also allow me to say thank you so much to my producer, Mavuto Piri, my camera person in the studio, Christopher. Thank you so much for those fantastic pictures. My name is Innocent Piri. You can simply call me IP. Allow me to say, may God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa. Good night.